Matilda.
Hi, Andrea. We're going to mute. This is George and Carol are here.
Hey, George, how are you?
Good.
Hey, Carol.
Hi.
We're muting.
Excellent. Thank you. And Margaret, is that you or John?
Hi.
Is that Margaret?
Hi. John's downstairs on his, he has, he doesn't do Zoom like I do. So he's, I went down there to help him, but I'm going to go down there again.
Okay.
I do it for my work. So he'll be right on. Just a second.
Okay. We'll wait for him. Thanks, Margaret.
Sure.
All right, success for John. Hi, John.
Mute
Oh,
yourself
okay.
and your video.
Whew.
Good evening, John.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not online yet here.
Oh, you're dangerously close, I'd say.
I wonder why the video won't, he has a slash on the video, and so I'm clicking on that, but it doesn't seem to wanna.
Yeah, and on my participant list,
Oh,
your
yeah.
video appears to be on. But we
Uh,
don't see you.
Okay, it looks like it's on, but I don't see his picture up there on the left. Oh, there
There
it
we
is.
go.
Okay.
Ah,
All right.
okay.
Outstanding.
So Margaret's gonna get on hers, and I'm gonna get on mine. Ouch. All right, great. And Carol's on too?
Yeah, Carolyn, George, and Vic.
We're
So,
here. Hi, John.
Hey, how you doing, George?
All right.
Glad you made it. Glad I made it.
We're eating, so we have our video turned off. You don't want to watch us eat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what are you having, George?
Mostly salad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's boring.
all right, well, let's get started. Let's zip around and everyone, if they would
Introduce.
introduce themselves, that would be great. John, you want to start?
Well, I'm John Lint, and I helped, I was on the group's committee before a couple of years ago, and we're just rekindling it, and that's who I am.
Great. Margaret?
I'm Margaret, and I also was on the tree and landscape, and we did the fairly big project over at the community park, and hoping to
Keep going.
do another one.
Excellent. Hey, Carolyn, George?
We have lived here only for a few months, but full-time, but we've owned the place here 20 years and are interested in beautifying whatever we can. So, yeah.
Great. Vic?
Oh, hi there. I have been following trees and landscape for a while. I'm a citizen observer, but I've been hoping to get to work. Was hoping to be able to clear the Morrow Path, the bike project, and get down and dirty and pull some weeds out there, and things kind of fell apart. So I'm hoping that, oh, by the way, I did go over to Palisades today to see the trees that got planted. And so I know that we can do some good if we just get moving on this thing. So I'm glad you're reviving it.
Great.
Oh,
Thanks,
the
Vic.
arbutus, right, from 2 years ago.
Yes,
Great.
Yeah. We're
Good.
getting water.
Thanks
I'm-
for joining
I
us.
mean, I'm Andrea Luker. I'm new to LOCAC, and obviously then new to Trees and Landscape. And John and I are the two LOCAC members that are starting off the committee. We have I'm happy to say the agenda is now been posted, and hopefully we've worked out the trauma with posting things on the LOCAC website. So we hope to post our agendas and our minutes more than 24 hours in advance. So I'll just say that. And we don't have a lot on the agenda tonight, but the next thing that we have on the agenda is chairperson announcements. And I don't have any announcements. John, do you have any announcements?
Let's just start talking and get all of our friends up to speed of what we're thinking of doing, and we'll just start the dialogue, Andrea, I guess.
Great, John. I'll turn that right over to you. How's that?
Okay. One thing that we were, that's on our agenda is to try to get a wing of our group to be able to collect monies either by grant or by fundraising efforts locally. So because trees cost money. And so I asked Andrea to contact the group Greening Los Osos, which was one of several groups that started up here with the idea to plant trees. And then it fell by the wayside, and its board president moved out of town. And apparently the group is not only defunct, but we also tried to find out, and Andrea can tell us what happened with this, a way for the nonprofit funding group Ecologistics to participate, which participated with Greening Los Osos as being their supporter, their base group, because they are enabling them to be a nonprofit organization that you can make donations to. So the Ecologistics group that supports a bunch of nonprofit groups is still around, and you exchange emails with them, correct, Andrea?
Yeah, thanks, John. So I reached out to Sarah, or I'm sorry, Stacy, excuse me, Stacy at Ecologistics, and she got right back to me. And she was the one that shared that she believed that Greening Los Osos was pretty much out of the picture. And John and I talked a little bit this week, and what I was planning on doing is going back out to Stacy at Ecologistics and getting a feel from her if there's a way to rejuvenate Greening Los Osos. I've always also reached out to a couple of other people about, can we rejuvenate Greening Los Osos instead of just starting something new? Because as John pointed out, and I agree, their name has some recognition here in the area. So that's just kind of still a work in progress, but we're going to be optimistic.
I know that Greening Los Osos participated with the CSD in planting a short little pathway that probably you all have visited over there in the back of, is it 8th Street that connects up to a street that goes all the way up to LOVR. Anyway, there's probably a couple 100-foot pathway with some trees along it there. So they have done that with the CSD, and I think, the name Greening Los Osos has some benefit and some recognition in the community if we could use it. And if not, we still need a sponsor. We still need a way to raise money, and that if we can do that, we'll be down the road of just one little bit here.
Well, they have that, I always forget, it's 501c3 or 3C. That's what they have that enables us to raise money and put it in a place to reserve it to buy things.
Yeah, I think we use their bank account, or they somehow touch the money so that it's all legit.
I think that Stacy lives where you, Carol, you and George live. Isn't that where she lives, John?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think she lives over there because we met over there one time with her.
What's her last name?
I don't know. Do
See if
you?
I have it.
Oh.
Let's see.
Margaret, it's 501c3.
Okay,
And what that does is allow people to give tax deductible donations.
Yeah.
oh, right.
Unless it's to a 501c3, they're not tax deductible.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
only
don't
difference.
have her last name. Oh, I'm sorry, Stacy Hunt, excuse
Mm.
me, Hunt.
Yeah, she's down the lower part. So, name.
Okay.
Hey,
It's her
George,
name, and we just put those flyers in the mailbox.
George, you should go over there and visit your neighbor regards this issue.
Okay. She's in 103. So we got her.
All right.
So what, I
That's
forget,
good.
what is eco logistics? Do you remember, John, what it is? I don't remember.
Just what George said, I mean, it's a group that has that 501c3 status, and
Oh, okay. That's all
and
they are.
it's
Okay.
an umbrella organization for a lot of nonprofits, small nonprofits like us, so that we can collect money and
Oh, okay.
it's tax deductible. That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, that's great. So it sounds like she is,
Well, we don't know.
did you talk to her, Andrea, or?
No, we emailed, she was the email, when you send an email to info@ecologistics.org, I think it is, she was the one that responded. And my first discussion with her was to get contact information for greening Los Osos.
Right.
And she was the one that said, hey, I think they're
Kaput. Yeah.
they're to put, but yeah, the Eco Logistics has a pretty interesting website. It gives their Stacy is the chief executive officer. I'm looking at it right now, and they've got a board of directors. So, you know, if she knows anything further, you know, she may not know whether or not it's possible to use greening Los Osos. That might be a second step, but we'll get back in touch with her.
Great.
So I was a part of Green Los Osos and then left frankly, there was a clash of wills there. And, but I was part of the founding of Green Los Osos myself. So that and $5 will get you a cup of coffee.
We did a fundraiser over at Sea Pines, which helped us raise the money to buy the trees that we then planted at the community park.
Yeah, so it had a function and a successful history while it was around.
Right.
We gave away a lot of free trees that had been donated to us at that. It was kind of like a Arbor Day or
Right.
is that what it was? And
Yeah.
and we had a booth there at an event there, one of the musical events at the park. It was sort of get the word out about greening Los Osos. And you've probably seen around town, they have a brochure that just sort of promotes the whole idea. I know we printed up quite a few copies of it. So it's part of our goal is to get the word about planting trees, to get people excited about planting trees, to help them learn how to plant and care for trees and the importance of trees. All of that was the function of Greening Los Osos.
John, can you talk a little bit about your contact with the county and the planting at Los Osos Community Park and kind of where we are with that?
Yeah, it has been a goal of our group in general to plant more trees in Los Osos, particularly at important corridors in town where a lot of people will see the trees. So, and at the community park, which, you know, we already did. At the community park, there's one area of the park that is sorely lacking right at the corner. If you go down Palisades and look at the corner, you'll see it's sort of the entrance to the park. It's pretty devoid of greenery. And part of the issue there has been the Parks and Recreation Department that runs that didn't have a good watering system, and where we were constantly for the past several years badgering them to, hey, what's the problem here that you don't have enough water going to these trees? And so several of them died, and and the oak trees that were there previously along the fence there were also suffering and had very little greenery. And I think it's too late for several of them. So we have formally asked the park department to let us plant 5 to 10 trees or shrubs. They've made a point, oh, it can't be too big there. So we might settle for large shrubs. And so we're trying to pick plants. We're kind of leaning towards Melaleuca at the entrance there that would, we've been told, can handle the wind, because a lot of wind comes down the LOVR, and can handle the fact that they're under eucalyptus trees, which is, you know, an issue for some plants. So we're in the process of arm wrestling with them. I've had a friend of mine that said, hey, this is the county's job to do this. And it's the parks, the county parks department that tells us, oh, we want this to be a project of the community. So we're still arm wrestling as to who does what, but the way we did it before is we on a certain day, we all met there and we planted close to 20 trees a couple of years ago before COVID hit. And so I'm perfectly willing to do that and plant them in the ground, but we're going to insist that the county care for them to the degree of putting drip irrigation line there and making sure the trees get water. And we can, the way I figure it, we can monitor the, advocate for the trees, and there's very little maintenance to be done. But as to the cost of the trees, my thinking right now is to try to get the county to pay for it with some special fund that we may have to lean on them. But as for the larger projects in town, it's kind of a similar situation where the county is very reluctant to let trees happen along their right of way. And when you think about it, there's so much property in Los Osos that is controlled by the county, including the Midtown property that they own, across from the park. And the one positive thing that I've told Andre about in the past year is that we have found some staff support for doing trees along Palisades and along LOVR on the side of the property that the county owns. That would be the north side of LOVR between Pine and Palisades. So if we could, if we had at least our vision so far was, gee, wouldn't that be great if we could do a big project like that and plant a lot of trees along that corridor. And so that takes, a bit of an effort to convince the county's it's the county's public works department in this case that has to be convinced. And the only thing I want to tell you about that is tomorrow I'm going to be meeting with a member of the Board of Supervisors, Dawn Ortiz-Legg, who I talked to about the issue of getting county approval to do these projects. So I'm hopeful that we can have an advocate there. Bruce, our supervisor right now, has given some lip service to the idea of planting trees, but frankly, we've had trouble nailing them down to give us final approval for planting trees on county right of way. The other entity that has a lot of say so is the the county wastewater treatment people. And it's a little confusing as to who owns Midtown acreage there. It may be that department, the wastewater treatment people, who have a say so. We tried to get to plant trees at the entrance of the wastewater treatment plant out on LOVR at the entrance to town, and they were reluctant to allow us to do that as well. So we've been down the road a little bit with the county to try to get them to do these plantings. So that's about that's sort of a roundup of what we've worked on so far.
Now, we did meet with, I forget his name, Tavares. What was his?
Yeah, that's who I meant. Yeah.
Oh, right. And he was the only person in Public Works that ever was interested
Positive.
in this, right? And
He's
he lives here.
And
He
he's in the right of way department. So that's the right
Right.
department. Yeah.
And he didn't seem to think it would be a problem to plant along, where that fence is on did he say LOVR or just Palisades? I can't remember.
Both.
Yeah,
We were advocating for both.
right. And so talk about, were you gonna want to talk about EcoSlow, Andrea, or was that on your agenda?
I think anything related to planting. Let me go back to Mike Tabaris really quickly, though.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
So he ultimately, though, he's got to get his department head's approval, correct?
Of course.
Yeah, which is John Diodati. And so I think that's going to be, I think it's great that he's interested, and he's just a really fine person.
John is?
Mike Tabaris.
Oh, Mike Tabaris, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering how successful, I think it's worth, definitely maybe a little bit of that could certainly be a discussion item with Ms. Legg tomorrow about, we've got some support in the ranks, but the department head ends up making the ultimate decision. So, and it's trees, it's kind of it's interesting. I guess shocking is even a better word for it, that, something is simple. I'll just say that. And then EcoSlow, I can do a touch on that. John's, I think, has talked to EcoSlow, but EcoSlow has the ability and program and money to plant and then to take care of up to a year.
Margaret has a skinny on that group.
Oh,
I
great.
believe it's 3 years.
Oh,
They
fantastic.
applied for the CAL FIRE grant that we wanted to do. I guess that was greening Los Osos, right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to apply for that grant. Maybe it was I don't know. Was it early 2019 or 2018? Anyway. And because they have trees and they're free, but the only thing the county had to do was to give EcoSlow permission to put them somewhere. And they couldn't find anywhere in Los Osos to put any trees. So in the meantime, EcoSlow now got that grant, and they have a list of trees that Grant Halit sent me. I have it here, and I don't know how to get it out to everybody, but a list of trees that they have, and they will take care of them for 3 years. So they will, yeah, it's an incredible opportunity. So it's just a matter of working with the county and trying to get permission. And then, they don't do this in the summer, so they are gearing up to start doing it again.
This winter.
in the, in the fall and the winter and spring. So that we need to get on it so that, we don't miss out on that window of time,
I think CAL FIRE still has grant opportunities because every municipality across California is eager to plant trees except for this town. I don't know, I'm exaggerating, but trees in, everybody has heard of Tree City, USA, and towns proudly apply for that designation. One thing the county that Mr. Tabares told us is, if you're we can give you permission to plant trees on county right away, but we don't want to take care of them, he says. And you need to have an entity that we recognize that will be around long-term. And this was part of the reason why I wanted to have a recognized entity like Greening Los Osos to be an organization that could work with the county over time, so John moves on, but Greening Los Osos continues, and they accept that as somebody that could be a partner with the county on tree planting here. So that's another reason to have an organization like that. But CAL FIRE's still got grant money. I mean, part of the thing that that our tree and landscape group could do is start scouting for grant opportunities. And because it takes a couple of years to get in line and to be approved, you have to have all your permissions. And we could do some big projects around Los Osos. But part of we need within our organization to have some grant writing talent to reach out to different organizations to get money.
But do we need to do that if EcoSlow already did it?
I think myself think we have more than one, because we can't count on just them to do our planting.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is EcoSlow's thought that after 3 years, I mean, of course it depends on the species, but is their thought that after 3 years, these trees are going to, for the most part, going to be sustainable?
I think
I mean, is that the 3 year, is that what they're thinking, I wonder?
I think so. I think you hit it.
Because I think that then kind of plays into the county's comment about, well, we want somebody to take care of them long term. Well, not there for every tree in Los Osos, there's not somebody taking care of it. A lot of them are just, so I think
themselves, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe John, tomorrow after you meet with Ms. Legg, I'm wondering if it might not make sense for us to then, and maybe you can float this by her, to meet with a department head of Public Works. It makes sense to me to what really are the issues? Is it taking care of them, or is it, what are the issues? And especially if you meet with her first and she's like, well, this is great, and there's money and there's spaces, and then I think, in tandem we work on trying to figure out either a rejuvenating Greening Los Osos or a similar but differently named entity, because I think those are the sticking points in order to move forward on the tree planting, because it seems like it almost goes in a cyclic. Well, we can't do this because no one's taking care of them, and we don't have staff to take care of them, and we've got the snail. And so maybe again, if we just bite off little pieces. Because I'm sure the tree and landscaping committee before got pretty, I read through the minutes of previous meetings in 19 and 18, and it sounds like there was a fair amount of frustration with being able to get projects done. Uh-oh. I just lost the lints.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, Hopefully they'll come back on. Maybe they didn't like my comments.
It could be.
Vic, would you be willing to give me your last name for my minutes?
Brown. Yes, I'd like to be in the minutes. I have been attending the meetings through with what was it? Yael.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I
For-
did. We'll wait till the links are back. I did send out an email to all, to everyone that's been on. Okay, so that you were one of those. Okay,
I'm on your list.
perfect, great. All right, well, I wonder what happened. I wonder if there was an internet trauma. Lint household.
Very well could have been.
Yes.
But yeah, there were plenty of difficulties in bureaucracy. And I tell you, I just am interested in doing some of the labor. Hopefully, but get this to a point that I can still do the labor.
Sure. Sure.
And, I'm learning little by little, but it is incredible the hoops to jump through.
Yeah, and I almost sometimes feel like the hoops are created, you know,
Diversions.
yeah,
Yeah, it feels that way.
it feels like, I mean, if it sometimes feels like that, especially in Los Osos.
It does.
So, yeah, but we'll keep on it.
Yeah, and of course, water is going to be one of the top problems is getting water to anything we plant and maintaining that. That came up a number of times when we were talking about the moral bike path.
Mm-hmm.
And
John was telling me, I think it was John or Margaret was telling me that that the purple pipe does go to the community park. It's just not, it's not hooked up or.
I didn't know that. I thought the community park, well, in particular, the community center has its own rain catchment system and a storage unit.
Yeah, John's got the information on that, but it was pretty interesting to me that could certainly be an opportunity to use that kind of water for landscape.
Yes, that would be great to get.
I mean, yeah,
some of the purple water. Yes,
that was the whole point, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I was lusting after their lush lawn when I was walking around there today. I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice to, I think CSD is going to do a dog park over there.
Yeah, they're working on it. Part of it is just waiting though for the HCP to be finished. Yeah, there's plans and that's, it's a lot of good stuff happening, but just,
Well, since we're talking about that area and planting over there, I wasn't exactly sure which area. It must be near Los Osos Valley Road then and Palisades, the corner he was talking about.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they're gonna.
John and Margaret just texted me that they're trying to get back on.
Okay, I figured they were. I figured we'd give them.
And I just want to say that dog parks need trees unless they're fire hydrants there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah, they do really prefer the trees and shrubs, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
don't know. Go ahead.
There's a pretty good, there on the CSD website, there's a pretty good rendering of the proposed dog park. You can get an idea of how it's laid out. There's a small.
Yes, I know they updated it. There was something to do with the parking that had to be adjusted.
Yeah, I'm on the Los Osos Recreation subcommittee, the CSD subcommittee. So yeah, we just had too much parking, so we ended up being able to expand the size, which is kind of nice.
Yes. Heck yeah. Dogs will be very happy with that.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah, that's the bottom line on all these projects.
Yeah.
These days. But I noticed Tim Rockty was very interested in projects too. I think you already got him on your mailing list, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I heard back from a couple of people that weren't able to attend.
Oh,
But yeah, I
yeah.
just wanted to cast the net wide. Didn't want to exclude anybody that had
Yeah, I
participated.
think it would be Cindy Rustler and who else is it? Lisa Denker.
Yeah, Cindy was, I think, sorry about that dog. I'm gonna mute this for just 1 minute. We call it protecting the perimeter.
Oh, that's a good job. Scares me.
Yeah. Cindy was not able to attend, but interested, and I didn't hear back from Lisa.
And then there was, I think Lindy was at one time.
And I sent Lindy a separate, because I know Lindy, so I sent her a separate email, and she got back to me. And I think she's got some things going on, but definitely interested. So
Oh, good.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it looks like we might be back on. I don't know. Oh, now it's saying the host will let you in soon again.
Mark, I got Margaret on the, oh, there you
Okay.
are.
Oh, Spectrum.
All right, we got Margaret.
Okay,
Yeah, it's-
I'm just gonna be up here with her. This is too
here,
nuts.
you can sit here.
Okay.
Well,
I-
while you guys were off, we solved all the problems.
Oh,
so,
good. Well, let's have dinner. Okay.
And you volunteered for everything.
Yeah, thanks, John.
I wanted to point out one other piece of news, and that is that group Ecologistics gets part of their money from the, I guess it's the city of San Luis Obispo, TOT, the bed tax. The bed tax, some small portion, and I just heard about this, is dedicated in San Luis Obispo to tree planting. And so that's another thing I was going to talk to Supervisor Don Legg about.
You took a picture of that.
Right.
Where is your phone?
Well, it doesn't matter, but anyway, we could look into the possibility of doing that here in Los Osos if the county would allow us to have a revenue stream. Wow, we'd be
And I think it
cooking with
said
gas.
1% of the, what's that called?
TOT, yeah.
TOT in San Luis is going toward planting trees. Is what we saw it on the news last
The
night.
interesting thing about that Ecologistics is they're in a San Luis Obispo city group, but they have reached out to plant trees all over the county. So
You
I
mean
thought-
Eco Slow? or
I'm
Eco-
sorry.
Yeah.
EcoSlow, yeah.
Right, they're a regional. They're a regional. I mean, they're located in San Luis, but I think they deal with
Right.
stuff regionally.
Right. You know, and I know is Vic's still, is it Vic?
Yes, still on.
Is
Yes.
interested in that trail, the Moral Trail. We tried to get the former, that's controlled by the Parks Department, that trail.
Part of it.
And we tried to get a project going there. And I think another group tried to get a project going there. And I don't know the status of it, but the trail's already in many parts. And then the idea that we were talking about last time I was part of it was to plant the trail further to the west of the existing trail and to try to get the school district involved with that trail as well, to plant trees right around the intersection of the trail and South Bay Boulevard. And anyway, we tried to get the school principal interested, but it didn't go anywhere. But just finding other partners that want to plant trees is part of the effort that we're trying to do.
There was some controversy about who was responsible for maintaining that pathway.
Right.
And I'm not really sure where the hangup was. Like I said, I'm paying more attention to what can I do to get my hands in
Yeah.
the dirt here and get something done. But that was the obstruction we kept on coming up against, is how can we get some of this stuff planted? And it did not, I mean, we didn't even extend ourselves down to that area you're talking about at the end of the trail near the school, right?
Right.
Near at the intersection of South Bay Boulevard
Right.
and the cross whatnot walk. I think that the same problems are going to exist, is who's going to be responsible for weeding and who's going to take care of making sure water gets to these plants.
Yeah. Well, that would be a great job for that would be a great job for the school to.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, they
I
do.
mean, it's not that you get a student group to say, yeah, we'll help out there. But again,
You can do adopt a tree programs and things like that,
yes,
and help.
exactly right. But sometimes you get so frustrated, it takes so long, you go out and do the famous guerrilla tree planting.
Well, there's been some guerrilla weeding going on out there.
There you go.
I
Well,
think I know some of the guerrillas.
okay, well,
But the
do
veld
they know how
grass
to plant trees?
is it's just to get on top of the veld grass and get some of that stuff out of there, because it's
Yes.
raining. It's all over for us with the veld grass.
Who would know if a couple of trees happen to sprout there? You know what I
It
mean?
could happen.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm definitely not putting this in the minutes, just
Yeah.
for the record.
No, well,
The
Rose and
trail.
Jays and everybody else that could be seeding the place.
That's
Let
true.
their aim be good.
But yeah, there's another project and
Yes.
requires fundraising.
And jumping through the hoops that keep on
Right.
moving.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I think one of the takeaways from this discussion for John, for you and I at least, is to continue to, you're going to follow up with Don Ortiz Lake tomorrow, and then I will follow up with see what I can figure out with the greening Los Osos, and if that can be rejuvenated or start anew. I think those are the kind of the two points at this time.
Right. Well, what about talking with Stacy?
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna send an email out to her, actually, even though Carolyn George, she's your neighbor. There goes sorry about the dog. And just see if she knows if anybody is still involved in the greening Los Osos. Nobody responded to an email, so I'm guessing they aren't, but I can do that. Do we want to touch before we go for public comment?
Steve Harrell.
Steve? Do we want to, so the process of adding public members, John, you were a public member, right, before?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
is that a formal process, or is we just list people on the agenda that come to our meeting and we consider those public members? Can you help me out with that?
Well, I don't know exactly the rule on that myself, but we had a steady group of, I want to say, 8 to 10 people that would come to the meetings.
Okay.
And then if you were listed on the agenda or on the minutes, then you were part of it, I guess.
Okay, I looked and I didn't see anything definitive about the process for adding public members, but I do see what some of the other committees, there are people that are listed as public members, and then there are others that attend. So I'll try to figure that out. I think, if we had a group of 8 to 10, that would be fantastic.
You didn't say it.
Yeah, I'll have to say that depending on who was keeping the minutes, sometimes, I mean, I attended most of those meetings. I noticed my name wouldn't show up. I wasn't a public member. I was just an attendee, but
Yeah,
it would be depending on, because we didn't have a formal secretary for that at all times.
okay,
It's a little loose, no doubt about it.
okay. I can deal with that. Well, unless there's anything else, I thought we would see if there were any other public comments from anybody that's on the meeting, for anything that they want to chat about. Or John, did you have other things to bring up?
I think Margaret wants to bring up something about the plan. Let me get by you.
Also, Andrea, I just forwarded to you the list from EcoSlow. It's called from Grant that he sent me back in end of September, about a month ago.
Oh,
It's
fantastic.
It's called EcoSlow Full Circle Tree List. And we met him because he was there. You know that church on LOVR? What is the name of that church? I never can
The
remember.
NAS?
It's across from the plant out there.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember what it's called either,
Yeah.
but I know what you're talking about.
Right. They planted, he was there because EcoSlow planted about, I don't know, 10 trees over there.
Mhm.
And so that's where we met him. And then he sent me this list of trees that they have. And so I forwarded that to you, so you'll
Okay.
have that. I guess I'm just forwarding things to you. I don't know how you send it. You would send it out to everybody, right?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Okay, thank you.
And I actually might post it on the webpage, on the website, under
Oh.
our trees and committee group. As soon as
Okay.
I get permission to do that.
Oh, okay. Who has to give you permission?
Well, I'm still finding that out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of permission, this is the last thing. We approached the county once again about the parks at the community park. The ranger there, Laska Gaylord,
Mhm.
I pestered her over the summer, but every time I talked to her about replanting, they were like too busy or something. I don't know. But anyway, she now is, I believe, on board for the replanting of the outside area there that looks awful. Even the oak trees that are against the fence there that have been there, we don't know how long they've been there. They weren't watering them, I don't think, at all. And, I guess a lot of them they're not dead, but they don't have any leaves on them. So they have now they changed the emitters. They made a trough. They're starting to water them. And what we need to do is give her a plan of what to plant to replant the ones that died.
Hmm.
They were redbud, because somebody in the greening list, so in our tree and landscape group, suggested that we plant those, and they didn't make it.
Mhm.
So we need to send her that, and I think we need to do it as soon as possible, because it's gonna, hopefully rain in a week or week and a half. And so I don't know if we need to all talk about that, or, I mean, it's not going to be a huge amount of trees.
It may just be bushes.
Yeah, she doesn't want any big trees there.
Hmm.
Even
I
though-
think we should just send her some ideas and go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's a park, but she doesn't want big trees. Go figure.
Yeah.
I don't know. But does everybody know what Melaleuca are?
Mhm.
With the little purple, balls and everything. We went over to talk to Hope at the nursery because boy, she is hard to talk to. And she happened to be there when we called. So we just went over there and talked to her. And she gave John a list of her recommendations
Hmm.
of what to plant over there. And you have the list. I don't know where
Yeah, I
that
can, I
is,
can
but
send it to Andrea, the list of what she suggested. I made up a little thing with pictures too. So
and one of them is a Melaleuca, and I think they're just really pretty and they're very drought resistant and they bloom, I think
they're already in the park too.
they're in,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe one, but
Are they the
two.
kind of a bottle brush looking bloom, white bloom?
No, it's like a purple ball. They're
Oh.
blooming now.
They're blooming right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds lovely.
Are
Um,
Melaleuca, do they have a, I can't remember if it's Melaleuca or not. They don't have like a 7 to 10 year lifespan, do they? Is that Melaleuca? There's a very popular plant that, I don't think that's Melaleuca. They last longer than that.
I mean, I think they distill tea tree oil from the Melaleuca, but I'm not sure it's the same variety.
Oh,
Maybe send her, how many different plants did Hope provide on that list, John?
About 6 or 7.
You know what I would suggest doing is maybe taking that, I'd love to see it, but taking that list and shipping it to the county parks and saying, here are the recommendations. We like Melaleuca, but maybe give them an opportunity to pick and choose. But if Hope recommends those and she knows the
Yeah.
scenario, I think what the heck, if the county's up for it, let's jump on that.
yeah. And I
Okay.
think that they need to put, after that's done, they need to put some mulch there and make it look, like pleasant to look at when you pass by. But anyway, so they,
I would count that as screaming progress.
yeah, the county also does have a list of trees that we got, in end of 2019 when
Approved trees.
approved trees.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know where that is. It's around here someplace, but so is everybody okay with just us submitting it, or do you want to see it?
It's all right, I
first?
think.
I don't know.
No, I think I'd love to see it, but only in tandem with submitting it. I think it's great.
All right, well, we'll certainly submit the plan when we submit it to everybody that wants it
Yeah.
here. In the meantime, we'll just keep on keeping on and try to make progress here, I guess.
Yeah, and then was there any, Carol, George, or Vic, anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up tonight?
No,
No, I
just
just,
hey,
go ahead,
everybody.
Vic.
Mm.
Go ahead, Vic.
Oh, that was it. Just happy that there's still a pulse.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we just want to say, I think it's a great group. My only thing, we just looked up Melaleuca, and bottle brush is a kind of Melaleuca.
Uh-huh.
They're different, many different species. They're all from Australia. And I'd like to see us, not in all cases, but in many cases, plant natives,
Uh-huh.
just because they're much more supportive of wildlife, including
Okay.
insects and birds. But that doesn't have to be everywhere, but that should be kind of something we look for. And if
Yeah,
we can,
Georgia, that's some good input. If you would throw out some ideas, that would be, just submit them to me.
Okay.
Go
Carol's
down.
an expert on them, so.
I'm not an expert, but
Oh,
I'm interested. I'm interested.
okay, that's right. I forgot about that, Carol. Why
Fantastic.
don't you take a look at that corner and tell us your take?
Okay, why don't you text us or tell us exactly where that corner is?
Sure.
know?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
it's at the entrance to Palisades on Los Osos Valley Road?
That's right, the
Right
very
there.
corner.
Okay,
Okay,
across from the skate park, right? It's the,
Yes, right
yeah.
next to the skate
Mhm.
park.
okay.
We can send you the list also of what Hope suggested, and then we can dig up the county approved plants.
yeah, that'd be great.
Too.
Great.
All
Yeah.
right,
Great.
well,
Thanks.
we'll do
Perfect.
it.
Okay,
In the meantime, I'll report back of our discussion with the supervisor over there.
Yeah,
Good luck.
enjoy, that's great. Enjoy that.
All right,
All right, everyone, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Good
Andrea.
night.
Have a
all
good
right.
night.
Good night. We'll see you next
Okay.
time. Okay.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye,
bye.
Andrea.